Big practicality and a surprisingly high quality finish set the 7-seat Vauxhall Zafira apart from a number of its compact MPV rivals. The Flex 7 seating system continues to offer the versatility that buyers in this sector seek. There's strong safety provision, a good range of frugal diesels, and even a 240 brake horsepower VXR performance version should you feel the need. It's not bad looking either, with the Vauxhall family styling cues very much in evidence. Some cars offer a lot of scope for improvement, but Vauxhall's first generation Zafira was never one of them. It fulfilled its role brilliantly in offering 7-seat family transport that was safe, affordable, reliable and enjoyable with rock-solid build quality. You won't be expecting too much from the on-the-road driving experience. This is a people carrier after all, in which case you might be pleasantly surprised. The Zafira is actually a pretty good steer on a challenging road, and the driving position is really excellent, aided by this rake and reach adjustable steering wheel, and the whole setup gives you a commanding, comfortable view of the road ahead. In addition to the usual traction control and stability control programs, buyers can specify IDS Plus, which includes continuous damping control. Now here the idea is that the dampers continually adjust to the different road surfaces in order to reduce pitch and body roll. And that's something you'll be very grateful for when little Jimmy's feeling queasy in the back and you're running late for the school play. When pushing on, even this relatively standard spec model doesn't roll through the corners, even at pretty high speeds. On first acquaintance, the Zafira might feel a little bit firm, but that's only because Vauxhall have had to account for a possible 7-seat occupancy load. Now, when pushing on a bit, the ride and handling balance works really well, and there's plenty of feedback from the steering. The one thing you can never have too much of in an MPV style vehicle is space, of course, and sure enough the second generation Zafira is 6 inches longer, 1.5 inches wider and a shade taller than its predecessor. It retains the 7-seat configuration, of course, with these 2 rows, the middle bench with 3 seating positions and this back row with 2 more berths that fold flat into the floor courtesy of the clever Flex 7 seating system. Something else that's changed with the Mark II model is the amount of legroom and headroom on offer for all the occupants. With all 7 people on board, a Mark I Zafira felt hideously cramped. The Mark II is much better. Okay, it still won't be ideally suited to a rugby sevens team and all their kit, but for the average family, assuming they don't exist on a McDonald's diet, it could be pretty close to perfect. As ever, the seating system's so versatile that the Zafira can be configured to run in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7-seater form in a matter of seconds. Now most of the time families will use it in 5-seater form, in which guys they can get 620 litres of luggage space behind the second row of seats. Now fold everything flat and that figure will rise to 1,820 litres of luggage space. Depending on the trim level, there are around 30 different storage areas dotted around the interior, and a number of those are in the optional roof lining box that runs or can run the length of the ceiling. Prices lie mainly in the £13,000 to £20,000 bracket that's common to rivals like Citroën C4 Picasso, Renault Scenic and Volkswagen's Touran. A wide range of engines are offered, and this Mark II Zafira marked the debut of Vauxhall's 140 brake horsepower 1.8 litre Ecotec petrol engine. That's the unit I've been testing here. It sits just above the slightly underwhelming entry-level 1.6 litre petrol alternative and just below the 2.2 litre petrol model that sits in turn below a couple of turbocharged 2 litre petrol models, developing either 200 brake horsepower or, in the case of the range-topping VXR, 240 brake horsepower, and that's enough for anybody in a mini-MPV. Diesels, well, there are 2, both 1.9 litres in capacity, developing either 120 or 150 brake horsepower. And these, along with the 1.8 litre petrol Ecotec, are probably the best choices for families looking to subject their Zafiras to typical day-to-day duties. If it were me, I'd probably go for the 120 brake horsepower diesel and pocket the difference. It's quite up to the job. If you're a family motorist looking to buy this car, then you probably won't even consider one of the petrol turbocharged alternatives. They're a hoot to drive, but sub 30 miles to the gallon fuel economy isn't really what affordable family motoring is all about. The diesels are much more like it, 46 miles to the gallon and CO2 emissions of 165 or 167 grams per kilometre, depending on whether you go for the 120 or the 150 brake horsepower version. The 1.8 litre petrol is another cost-efficient alternative. It manages 36 miles to the gallon and 187 grams per kilometre of CO2, figures that are bettered by the entry-level petrol 1.6 at 38 miles to the gallon and 175 grams per kilometre, but the 1.8 is really much better to drive. The Zafira has an enviable reputation amongst family buyers, and used values hold up well in comparison to mainstream rivals. Insurance groups go from Group 5 to Group 15 for the VXR, but most models are in a more manageable Group 9. This Vauxhall's main selling point remains its interior, with its user-friendly seating and high-quality finish. Extra interior storage space and a bit more visual pizzazz would make this car even better, but even so, it's an impressive effort from the Zafira's designers. Now, the turbocharged petrol engine options certainly excite, but it's the diesels and the high-tech 1.8 that will continue to generate the most sales. Expect the Zafira to remain at or near the top of the mini-MPV sales charts.